Welcome to a spark of awareness. We live in a time where we are constantly being stimulated, prompted by systems, by algorithms, by AI. But when we outsource our answers, we slowly give away our authority, our inner voice, our self-mastery. Conscious leadership has no shortcut, no hack, and it can only begin from within. It is the courage to stop escaping and to sit with what's alive and present inside, even when it's very uncomfortable. But that's where growth is. And this podcast is a space for that. This podcast is an evolution. And every week, I will share a 15-minute human prompt, live, non-performative. It is a moment of reflection drawn from my work in conscious leadership, from the journeys of the leaders I coach and accompany, and from what is moving in a collective film of what is humanity and leadership. I am Sophie Vaux, a conscious leadership coach and guide of transformation. I support leaders who are crossing the threshold right now from the old system of leadership, a legacy, into a deeper, more conscious way of being. If the traditional model no longer resonates, know that you are not alone, and that is your weekly practice. This is your time with your inner world. This is your weekly spark of awareness. Welcome. Welcome to a new episode of Spark of Awareness. And we are touching on our last core need in this series of the human core needs. So if you have missed the previous one, the 6 needs are need of certainty, need of uncertainty, the need for connection and love, the need for significance, the need for growth, and the last need is for contribution. And this need is the need that happens after the need of love and connection, or it grows after the need for significance. Because here, this is a tricky one. Everyone wants to contribute. But the question is, from which place is this? Do you want to contribute because you want to be seen, you want to be recognized, you want to be valued? Here we are back to the need for significance. You want to contribute because you're going to grow, you're going to learn? We are back to the need for growth. Or you want to contribute because you want to belong, you want to be accepted, because it feels good. It's a good deed to contribute to do something good. Then you belong to a community, to a tribe. Need for love and connection. So, like any need, I would always examine what is in the background, the shadow, or what is really the why behind the need for contribution. And the need for contribution is really the need to make an impact, the need to give back. And that's very specific. And many times we give because we want to receive. But how about giving when the act of giving is already when you receive? It's enough as is. And that's when it's going on a healthy direction, this need for contribution. And I see many companies that put on the hat of impact, but in the background, they're all for profit, they're all for growth. They're all maybe somewhere the founders want to be seen, recognized. So it's the same, just dressed as contribution. So here, be very honest with yourself. Do you have a need? And is it coming from the right place? So how does that translate? The need for contribution is you love to create impact, you love to contribute, you love to help, you love to support, you love to create change, have some significance. And it has also some shadow, as I said, when you are so much in contribution. So I see this for many women leaders actually, where it shows up a bit as overgiving. We want to contribute and we don't charge. I want to help. Ask me anything, I will help for free. And with needs for contribution, because in the shadow, maybe there's a need to belong. This is when we are overgiving, and it's at the cost of a person who's giving too much. So here, the area of growth for contribution, what is your relationship to receiving? Because when you love to give, you have to know how to receive. Can you receive? So if you contribute, can you receive abundance of money, abundance of love? Can you receive fully? Or you say, no, 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 I don't want anything, I just wanted to give. Everything is a give and receive. So I would really examine how, if you are overgiving, you can change your relationship to receiving. And many times we see organizations that are contributing a lot to the world, social impact, non-profit, and not taking anything for growth. And that's also not so sustainable. So it's like kind of rejecting to receive when you are giving so much to the world. So everything is an equilibrium. So I would learn here to how to receive. The other shadow is when you don't give enough. So the need for contribution is a need that can appear later when you have worked in a healthy way with your need for recognition and significance. Let's say you've been very successful in your career, you've achieved a lot, you've done a lot. For example, for myself, I was very active in games, made a lot of impact in the companies I worked at, in the industry with my podcast, the insights. And yeah, I was receiving a lot as well, paid very well. But there was a cost to that. The cost was creating games, monetizing games based on screen time, playtime. And what am I contributing to? I'm contributing to a world where more people are on screen. And that was a very uncomfortable moment for myself where I had to make a choice. It's like it feels so good to work in games. It feels so good. It's growing, it's paying well, it's a lot of fun. But then there's a very uncomfortable question, what am I creating in this world? The people who pay, typical profile of a player I've studied, Nancy, she's 55 and she's been playing and spending 30,000 on a game. And that's her pension savings she puts into the game. And she also put that money into casino. So is this so good what I'm doing when I'm creating games that create more playtime, more addictive behaviors, but they generate a lot of money? And so that's when that need for growth for myself, it had to shift to the need for contribution. I started to shift my practice from gaming leadership to coaching leaders to work in a more conscious way, the way they create products, the way they lead teams, the way they build companies, what is the impact on a human level. And now I'm going even deeper on the path of healing and medicine because my need for growth or my need for belonging or even the need for significance has evolved to the need for contribution. And it has been much bigger and present in my life, but it has not always been there. Like I said, it's an evolution. So maybe you are in the phase of life right now where you ask yourself, I've had enough, I have received enough. I've been feeding enough my unhealthy needs of significance or growth or uncertainty. And I'm ready to grow up. I'm ready to evolve. And I'm ready to contribute. And that's one of the highest needs that one can go to when it's coming from a healthy place. So as you're listening to this, and this is the last episode on that series, ask yourself, where are you in those core needs? Need for certainty, uncertainty, variety, a lot of novelty, the need for love and connection, or the need for significance, the need for growth. How can those needs evolve to a need for contribution? Because from that place, you're really actually trying to create value for the world, value that comes from the heart, value that comes from the right place where you're not trying to feed a personal unhealthy ego need, and you can actually create a meaningful impact in the world. And for me, the meaningful impact in the world is quite simple with my own journey that I will share at some point in future episodes. It's the journey from fear, which is an emotion and a frequency that is very, very present everywhere. People are afraid of losing their job, not having enough money, not having stability. Companies are afraid of dying. Everyone is in the fear frequency. And how can we move from that to love? And that's by creating, contributing to create more businesses, starting from the leaders that lead from a place of their heart, not from the mind, not from the ego, not from fears. And that requires deep inner work, which I'm accompanying. And if that speaks to you, this is the work. This is the steps to actually get to a place where you can really contribute from the heart and not from a place of fear. So I'm going to let you ponder on that. And I'm closing this series on all the human needs. And my journey has been a deep journey of transformation if you followed. And that's why I'm going deeper into this work. And I understand on a human level, we all have those needs, but we have those shadows. And the only way to work with those shadows is to examine them, be aware of them. And that's the first step for change. So I am, with this content, creating awareness for you to identify first what are your core needs, what are the shadows of those core needs, where is it coming from? It always has a root in your earlier years of life, from 0 to 6 years old, maybe even from past generation. And what are you going to do now that you know? And I'd be happy to have this conversation going forward. You can reach out to me and share your story because you're not alone. So, as usual, we're going to close this series and this episode with a grounding meditation. And I'm inviting you to close your eyes and practice, if you follow the last episode, with the heart coherence breathing. So, breathing in for 5 seconds and breathing out. So, let's start. And get comfortable in your body where you're sitting. Drop the mind and come to your heart. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And as you continue to breathe with a rhythm, keep going. Notice how your body and your chest are moving and your heart is expanding. And notice how you feel different, maybe a little calmer, more in your body, connected to your emotions, your sensation. And let's do 2 last breathing together. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And slowly notice just how it feels in your body, in your state, and be in the moment. And for this episode, I will leave you in that meditative stage with yourself. Take some time to go back to the previous episode and revisit the core human needs and see which one resonates with you, which one you need to work on. And all the work is there. There are evergreen episodes. You can always come back to it and reflect for yourself, discover maybe this need is more present or that need, examine and work on it. And if you are struggling to go there because it's uncomfortable, it reveals some old wounds, some old places you don't want to go to, Let's talk. I do this work, and we're going to have a retreat in September, a medicinal retreat, which I have shared in a few blog posts, a beautiful one with conscious leaders to go to another deeper level of consciousness. And that's what the world is calling for. I'll give more information and I'll share in the future in the blog post and in the podcast. Take care of yourself and take care of your heart. Bye bye. Thank you for tuning in into this weekly reflection, a weekly spark of awareness. After this episode, I invite you to take a few moments with yourself, even just 15 minutes to sit with what resonated, to breathe, and to notice what is shifting inside. This is a practice, a discipline of presence, truth, and self-connection. If this work speaks to you, I accompany leaders in one-on-one journeys and group experiences of transformation, supporting them as they cross the threshold into a truer and freer way of leading and living. If you feel called to explore this path, I would love to hear your story, and let's connect. Sending you love and courage, and have a great week ahead. This is my spark of awareness.